here's a part I know some of you have been waiting on. We've been buggering around with the engine there for months now, and we're working our way through the steering box and the gearbox. Now, on my tractor, that's the old steering box. There's a few things. And look, it was just a matter of undoing the bolts around the top here, but up the top, where the battery box goes on, there's a big long bolt there, and then there's a bolt comes in each side from the bottom. Just, oh, you can't see that, just about there. And there's another one on the other side here, and this one on the other side, it actually holds the side cover on as well. So, and that's the top one. It's a big long through bolt. So now I've undone the nut here, and look, this came off, and it was that easy. But I had soaked it in CRC for a while, but you can see at some stage someone's given it a fair old flogging. So that tit's supposed to be nice and square like that, not bashed around. And look, that's no big deal. Now, on this, there should be a spline here somewhere. So look at that, that can go on anywhere. So I probably should have marked that before I took it off, but I'll just have a look here and see if there is a mark. There's a mark there. There's a little witness mark there. Just see that little line comes across there. But yeah, look, I should have looked for that. Well, you get busy filming and you yeah, you're looking for shots and you're bloody missing other bits and pieces, so that's all right. Okay, so the steering box is here. I've undone the steering wheel at the top, was loose, so I just undid the nut here, and I've got to find a new one of them with a proper 1/16" spanner size. A lot of the aftermarket ones, they don't have the 1¼ flats, so we're looking for one of those. The gear stick rubbers have been long gone on mine here. The oil filler here, that's had the top broken off it for 100 years by the look of it. There's my 1/16" spanner. So the oil filler on this, Fergie spanner size, 1/16". Looks like this one's been over tightened over the years, because there should be a flange coming out the top there that's broken off. So that's in the can. We'll come around here. Now in this side here, this is the filler. And looks like that's full of grease. So someone has probably filled this with grease. Now this nut here, this you'll see inside once we get there, this looks after the engagement of the pitman arm when it goes through the, when it engages with the other worm here. Oh, no words today. So we should be able to. "27 coats of paint later." Okay, so I'm just loosening that off now. It was just easier to hang on to. So, okay, let's pop this side off and get ready for the mess. I reckon it'll be just full of grease and rubbish. We'll see how we go. Okay. And this will tell us a tale. Mightn't be a good start tail. Oh, yuck. Holy dooly. Look at the water and all the rubbish in here. Chances of anything in here being any good aren't looking that flash. But it doesn't matter, does it? Okay, so you can see the water coming out of it. What a beauty. Now this pitman shaft should come out. Sometimes they get a bit tight because there's been a bit of paint and all that around there, so. There we go. So that's your pitman shaft. There should be a little plunger. Oh yes, the plunger can turn in here. That's spring loaded, so and that holds the plunger there engaged with the worm, and as the worm turns, that gives you your left and right turning. So I'll just get rid of some of this bloody grease. I might just wrap that in a bit of rag just for the moment. Okay, so the main gearbox shaft here, I'll pop that around out the back as well. The main gearbox shaft here has a lower bearing here, a ball race, and an upper one up in here, which is shim adjustable. So I imagine the next thing we should be looking at is a bloody big bar. So next thing we should be looking at is I've undone the steering wheel off the top. Like, it just come off and pulled straight off. Like, I didn't need a puller or anything, it was loose. So we'll undo these 4 bolts here, and those 4 bolts will release the bearings, which lets that shaft come away, and then we can wash it all up and have a look. Now the gear stick boots here are all shot. That feels pretty good. That's sloppy. You can see there's 10mm or more 3/8 of an inch slop there. So we're pretty sure that that's worn out, this ball and socket. That's okay. We'll look for another one. But we'll see if we can just rattle these fellas off quickly for you and see what we have here. These little 3/8 drive Makitas, DTW 2530. Boy, they're a ripper little thing. So that's a tight thread, but it looks okay. Okay, so this piece here just lifts off. That's the tube that supports it. Now, up the top here, there's normally a rubber bush. It's a rubber with a brass bush inside to support the steering shaft. That's gone. I think I'll know I lost that. There's the spacer plate. That spacer plate is what your battery box bolts to. And now down in the top here, this around here, that's your bearing. So if we can try and lever him out, it may be too rusty to lever out. Oh no, it looks like it's going to move. Beautiful. So I might just lay that down. Let gravity help us. And there's the top bearing. Just beautiful, look at it. And that runs on the steering shaft here. And we'll just have a look at that surface there. That surface is crap. And I imagine this one being down the bottom, well, it's actually better. But look, there is tiny little marks there, which will make the steering a little bit notchy. So that can go over there to be washed up at some stage. What a dirty job. And there's another one of these bearing cups down in the housing there, but I think we'll get it all washed up first. So we'll, God, the amount of bloody grease in here. I suppose it was leaking oil, so they stripped it out, but we might give this a bath. There's a bush in here that runs on the pitman shaft. There's a seal on the outside there that I presume was leaking. Now the gear sticks, we'll just, you can buy the little cups that the gear sticks sit into. And this piece here, like there's a nut around the bottom there, and it comes in from the bottom. And I think we'll pull them out on this, but we'll give it all a nice wash first and see if we can get any sense out of the old girl. People put grease in these things and they never worry about it again, but I don't know, I wish they wouldn't really, but anyway. So that's got a spring that holds it down. That one's fairly good. For a high-low, that would be okay. This here, we're going to have a look. Whoop, got the old CRC rust converter there. There's a little clip down under here. Perhaps we'll set it up that way. That might be better. And see if we can lever that. It should just push up against the spring and lever it out. And catch it with your boot. So that's the little collar that holds the spring in place. Then we have the spring. Then we have a couple of couple of little pins here. So the little pin goes right through. And then there's your gear stick. So that's a bit corroded, but look, not too bad. And you can see that ball there is quite out of round. So it would have sunk down in into this ball a bit further. So with these nuts here, we'll wait till we wash it up. With these nuts here, you can adjust these up and down a little bit to sit your selector in a little bit deeper or a little bit lighter, so you have full contact with the selector, so it's really sitting down in there nicely. And if this here is worn, there's absolutely nothing wrong with cleaning it up and using a bit of braise, braising it up. So, but look, that will do for pulling the steering box apart. I'll go and give it a wash. It's just too dirty to play with here just at present. There's a seal on the outer here. There we go. So that's the steering box seal. That is hard as old boots. And there's a bush on the outer here and there's a bush on the inner. But at this stage, we might just call that the video for stripping it down. Then this bottom bearing down here, actually I wonder, can I show getting that out? And look, it's not in there tight, that bottom bearing. I can turn it, so I can possibly come in under it. God, the bloody grease. But look, I think I might go and give this a good pressure wash and a clean up. And yeah, look, that might do the video for stripping it down. When we come to putting it together, we'll go right into the nitty gritty and see how good we can get this box. Hopefully I can get it all brand new. That steering shaft, I'm not sure about that. I do have another steering shaft here out of a 188, and I may check if I can use that and cut and shut this one. Or anyway, I don't know. We'll play all that by ear.